Sefer Devarim, Parashat ve'et Hanan, second Aliyah. See, I have taught you decrees and ordinances as Hashem my God has commanded me, to do so in the midst of the land to which you come to possess it. You shall safeguard and perform them, for it is your wisdom and discernment in the eyes of the peoples who shall hear all these decrees, and who shall say, surely a wise and discerning people is this great nation. For which is a great nation that has a God who is close to it, as is Hashem our God, whenever we call to him? And which is a great nation that has righteous decrees and ordinances, such as this entire Torah that I place before you this day? Only beware for yourselves, and greatly beware for your soul, lest you forget the things that your eyes have beheld, and lest you remove them from your heart all the days of your life, and make them known to your children and your children's children. The day that you stood before Hashem your God at Horeb, when Hashem said to me, gather the people to me, and I shall let them hear my words, so that they shall learn to fear me all the days that they live on the earth, and they shall teach their children. So you approached and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain was burning with fire up to the heart of heaven, darkness, cloud, and thick cloud. Hashem spoke to you from the midst of the fire. You were hearing the sound of words, but you were not seeing a likeness, only a sound. He told you of his covenant, and he told you of his covenant that he commanded you to observe, the 10 declarations, and he inscribed them on 2 stone tablets. Hashem commanded me at that time to teach you decrees and ordinances, that you shall perform them in the land to which you cross to possess it. But you shall greatly beware for your souls, for you did not see any likeness on the day Hashem spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire, lest you act corruptly and make for yourselves a carved image, a likeness of any shape, a form of a male or a female, a form of any animal that is on the earth, a form of any winged bird that flies in the heaven, a form of anything that creeps on the ground, a form of any fish that is in the water under the earth. And lest you raise your eyes to the heaven, and you see the sun and the moon and the stars and the entire legion of heaven, and you be drawn astray and bow to them and worship them, which Hashem your God has apportioned to all the peoples under the entire heaven. But Hashem has taken you and withdrawn you from the iron crucible from Egypt, to be a nation of heritage for him, as this very day. Hashem became angry with me because of your deeds, and he swore that I would not cross the Yarden and not come to the good land that Hashem your God gives you as a heritage. For I will die in this land. I am not crossing the Yarden, but you are crossing, and you shall possess this good land. Beware for yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Hashem your God, that he has sealed with you, and you make for yourselves a carved image, a likeness of anything, as Hashem your God has commanded you. For Hashem your God, he is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When you beget children and grandchildren, and will have been long in the land, you will grow corrupt and make a carved image, a likeness of anything, and you will do evil in the eyes of Hashem, your God, to anger him. I appoint heaven and earth this day to bear witness against you, that you will surely perish quickly from the land to which you are crossing the Yarden to possess. You shall not have lengthy days upon it, for you will be destroyed. Hashem will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the nations where Hashem will lead you. There you will serve gods, the handiwork of man, of wood and stone, which do not see, and do not hear, and do not eat, and do not smell. From there you will seek Hashem your God, and you will find him, if you search for him with all your heart and all your soul. When you are in distress, and all these things have befallen you at the end of days, you will return to Hashem your God, and hearken to his voice. For Hashem your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon you nor destroy you, and he will not forget the covenant of your forefathers that he swore to them. For inquire now regarding the early days that preceded you, from the day when God created man on earth, and from one end of heaven to the other end of heaven. Has there ever been anything like this great thing, or has anything like it been heard? Has a people ever heard the voice of God speaking from the midst of the fire, as you have heard, and survived? Or has any God ever miraculously come to take for himself a nation from amidst a nation, with challenges, with signs, and with wonders, and with war, and with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with greatly awesome deeds, such as everything that Hashem your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? You have been shown in order to know that Hashem, He is the God, there is none beside Him. From heaven He caused you to hear His voice in order to teach you, and on the earth He showed you His great fire, and you heard His words from the midst of the fire. Because He loved your forefathers, and He chose His offspring after Him, and took you out before Himself with His great strength from Egypt, to drive away from before you nations that are greater and mightier than you, to bring you, to give you their land as an inheritance, as this very day. You shall know this day, and take to your heart that Hashem, He is the God, in heaven above and on the earth below. There is none other. You shall observe His decrees and His commandments that I command you this day, so that He will do good to you and to your children after you, and so that you will prolong your days on the land that Hashem your God gives you for all the days.